More on the show about how Boy Scouts are being trained to combat terrorism now. It's not about camping anymore. It's not about, learning how to survive in the woods and all that. No, it's about fear. You need to be afraid of these terrorists that lurk around every corner. Have you seen them in the last 8 years? I haven't. I certainly haven't. They're training them to fight terrorism. Part of that terrorism is gun confiscation. They're really worried about veterans. They're really worried about veterans, and rightly so, because veterans have been in the system. Some of them see a lot of dirty things, but the real big reason is most veterans have guns and know how to use them. This come out, which is completely sick. It's not even the Boy Scouts anymore. DHS enlists Girl Scouts for National Citizen Preparedness effort. We have come a long way since the days when the Girl Scouts went door to door and sold cookies. Now they will be selling manufactured fear. The United States wants to enlist 3.4 million Girl Scouts in an effort to combat hurricanes, pandemics, terror attacks, and other disasters. The Department of Homeland Security launched a campaign Tuesday to entice the blue, brown, and green-clad multitudes to be even more prepared, with a promise of a new patch if they pitch in. Woo! Golly gee, a new patch. Let's just run out and sign up our kids for the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. I used to be in the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and all that. Weeblo. I got the Arrow of Light. I crossed the bridge, received it from the Indian. That was a whole different Boy Scouts. Whole different time. I would never put any of my kids in Boy Scout. Luckily, they're grown now, my girls. But why would anybody want to participate in these organizations? And I would highly suggest you don't. If you got kids in there, pull them out. Let your neighbors know. Let everybody know what the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts stand for nowadays. It's just incredible. And like I said, the attack on our kids is really why we should stand up to this madness. Indoctrination of Obama youth in schools accelerates, despite efforts to portray next week's event as merely a president giving a speech to the students. The full scope of what some education experts are decrying as part of an indoctrination program represents an advancement of the creepy Orwellian cult of personality style worship of Obama and servitude to government being pushed in schools throughout America. This actually took place Tuesday because the speech is to be accompanied by a lesson plan issued by the Department of Education, another organization that needs to be flushed down the toilet, which instructs teachers to ask children, why is it important that we listen to the president and other elected officials? The children were asked to consider, what is the president trying to tell me? What is the president asking me to do? What new ideas and actions is the president challenging me to think about? I mean, it says it right here. Why is it important that we listen to the president? Why is it important that we worship Obama? That's really what this is. If anybody thinks that they're not setting up a youth brigade here in this country, I'm sorry, you're out of your mind. You are completely out of your mind. They're going to have green squads spying on people, going on door to door, spying on your neighbors, spying on your parents. They're training the kids to turn in their parents, neighbors, everybody. Sound familiar? Sounds like dictatorship, fascism, total fascism to me. Some schools won't show the Obama TV address. Some school districts in Texas, Illinois, Minnesota, Missouri, Virginia, and Wisconsin, among other states, have decided not to show President Obama's televised speech to children. And the Associated Press reported this. Others are still thinking over it and letting parents maybe have an opt-out. Some conservatives, driven by radio pundits and bloggers, are urging schools and parents to boycott the address. Their complaint is that Obama is using the opportunity to promote a political agenda and is overstepping the boundaries of federal involvement in schools. I totally agree. But I don't agree where it says some conservatives, and this came out of the USA Today. They're perpetrating a left-right paradigm fraud. There's no difference. Conservative, liberal, left, right, Democrat, Republican, blue, red. It's all there meant to keep us fighting while they run off to the bank. And that's exactly who the perpetrators of this madness, of this evil are. International banking families. Corporate slave masters. The military-industrial complex, which needs wars to continue bilking money from the public. 42% of parents in Utah don't want their children watching the Obama speech. I wouldn't either. And I was talking about how important it is to protect our children. I mean, there's a lot of evil stuff going on. You know, they're not only preying on our children's minds, they're not only poisoning them through the vaccines and the food and the water, but they're abducting them. They're abducting them into slavery, into pornography, and also into satanic blood rituals. This was actually posted by Tara on the 12160.org social network. Child sacrifice and ritual murders rise in Uganda as famine looms. Surge in deaths and kidnaps among poor linked to witch doctors and organ trafficking. In 2008, more than 300 cases of murder and disappearances linked to ritual ceremonies were reported to people, with 18 cases making it to the courts. There were also several high-profile arrests of parents and relatives accused of selling children for human sacrifice. Can you believe people would do that to their own kids? Is poverty that bad? My God. In January this year, the Ugandan government appointed a special police task force on human sacrifice and announced that 2,000 officers were to receive specialist training in tackling child trafficking with the support of the U.S. government. Since the task force was set up, there have been more than 15 more murders linked to human sacrifice and another 200 disappearances, mainly of children and young adults, under investigation. And you say, well, you know, that's over in Uganda. It's not just there, it's all over, it's worldwide. We have reports here in Florida of kids missing, people being abducted in the San Diego area, all over the country. You know, look at the website, the statistics of missing exploited kids. Find out exactly how many a year, how many thousands a year disappear. What do you think they're being disappeared to? Sex rings, organ harvesting, worse yet, murder. Murder. And if you don't believe that the elite are into Luciferianism, please check out Sex Rings Exposed at harrythomas.info. Check out the Occult Factor. Do some Google search. Look into this. There is a ton of evidence, you know, depicting this. Report, you know, this is really sad. I have a hard time even wanting to cover that stuff, but it's really an intricate part of who we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who pose as Christians and Jews and all kinds of other mainstream, legitimate religions. But they're really Luciferians. I mean, that boggles my mind, and the people believe it. Don't judge a man by his words. Judge him by his actions. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, and that might sound outrageous to anybody who's new to this information, but it's a fact. It's a fact. I give you my word on it. I challenge you to look into it. As uncomfortable as it is, I challenge you. Challenge you to look into that. This one come out of the London Observer, Sunday, September 6, 2009. And I always say, what happens over there eventually happens over here, and vice versa. Take more babies away from bad parents, says Barnardo's chief. Many more children need to be taken into care at birth to stop them from being damaged beyond repair by inadequate parents. The chief executive of the children's charity Barnardo's had told the London Observer. Martin Neri called for less effort to be directed at fixing families that can be fixed, and for social service workers to be braver about removing children at risk. They want your children's born, they want to take you. You don't even get a chance to try to be a good parent. This is thought crime. This is eugenics. This is eugenics. If you don't know anything about eugenics, please Google eugenics. Check out my website. I've done reports on it. Check out a movie called Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement by Alex Jones. That's also on the website. You can check that out. Really, get yourself informed so that you can start taking action against this tyranny, against this evil. Because we need to grow our base. We need to grow our base so that we can fight back effectively against the New World Order. This is incredible. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, they're encouraging social workers to steal people's children, even people that can be counseled maybe through hard times. You know, maybe they need a little guidance. Maybe they need to stop drinking or whatever they're doing that the state feels makes them inadequate. You know, maybe a family history. Maybe they were in jail before. Whatever happened to a second chance? Whatever happened to you owning your child, not the state? And that's exactly